All right, what's up, everybody? Listen, I believe this week is going to be absolutely chaotic here in the world of crypto, and I wanted to use today's video to go over exactly why I believe that is the case and what I'm doing as a result of it. So we have a good bit to get into today, so let's not waste any more time at all, and let's jump straight over to crypto bubbles, and let's see some of this chaos already starting. What we can see is that just in the top 100, we have some cryptos that are up as high as 20% today, and some cryptos down as high as 30%, with many more anywhere in between. Now, this chaos has already ensued, and I believe that the chaos of this week is going to be coming from three different areas: news, technical analysis, and manipulation. And I'm going to break down each one of those pieces for you and exactly why I think that the craziness is coming throughout this week. Now, the very first reason why I believe that this market is going to be chaotic is because of the news that we are going to see over the next coming days. First and foremost, just tomorrow, there's going to be a Federal Reserve crypto conference. They just randomly sprung it on us, which is hilarious in the middle of a government shutdown, which doesn't impact them, I know, but still, it's weird. Anyway, so they have a conference on crypto payments innovation on October 21st, and this is attracting a lot of interest right now in the TradFi space and cryptocurrency. Now, some people are anticipating that the conversation will focus on stablecoin oversight, the integration of blockchain tech into payment systems, and the changing regulatory environment. And this actually could be a really good thing for the crypto market because I'm a firm believer that the more clarity there is in crypto, the better in general. And so because of that, this is a huge thing that we are going to see tomorrow, and I think it's going to cause a lot of ripples here in the world of crypto. Now, in addition to that, we are also going to see on Friday US CPI and core CPI inflation data being released. Remember, the Fed based the majority of their decisions right now on the jobs market and inflation data. And so anytime you get any sort of report, CPI, PCE, jobs, jobless, you got to be watching it closely, because whatever comes out with inflation data or PCE more specifically, or jobs data, jobless data, whatever, the Fed is going to take it into consideration and decide what sort of moves they're going to make based on it. And so knowing that that's on Friday, you never know how this is going to go. Matter of fact, this is the very first time that there has been a CPI data release on a Friday since 2018, and it's due to the government shutdown. And so who knows what's going to happen? CPI data may release that's super terrible. The stock market closes, but then crypto takes all the L's throughout the whole weekend. How often does that happen? Or it's the other way. The stock market isn't open throughout the weekend. CPI data comes in better than people were expecting, and the next thing you know, the crypto market gets to reap all the rewards of that throughout the weekend. It's going to be chaos. And so because of that, I'm expecting a lot of volatility leading up into it. And in addition to all those other things, you have Trump, of course, I'm sure, going to announce something this week regarding tariffs in China and all that stuff. So there's a lot to pay attention to. So from a news perspective, there is a lot happening this week that is going to spin this market all the way around. Now, in addition to that, as I mentioned before, it's not just the fundamentals. The technicals are starting to paint a picture that there's a lot of important things happening here as well. What we can see is that previously, Bitcoin's price had been stuck in this little range right here. Let me just draw it out for you. This little range between this zone and this zone to the top side. And what happened is that last week, as Bitcoin's price suffered from that crash, its price pulled out of this zone that it was in. But interestingly enough, going into this week, it's trying to recover back into that zone and reclaim some lost ground. And so while we're getting all of this news and all of these, kind of key pieces of information releasing, Bitcoin's price, which is in control of the whole market right now, is going to be trying to re-enter back into a macro range. If it's able to re-enter into this range, that's a very good thing. And Bitcoin easily can work up to $118,000 or higher. But if Bitcoin's price fails to get back into this range as a result of all of the news and stuff that we're seeing this week, don't be surprised at all to see Bitcoin pull back to $100,000 or below. So there's a huge decision that Bitcoin's about to make. Get back in the range or don't. And I think it's going to make that decision this week as all of this crazy news comes out. And last but not least, while all of this stuff is happening with this range and all of this stuff is happening with this news, we're seeing liquidations piling up on both sides. You look at the 7-day Bitcoin chart and you can see that there are now currently $7 billion worth of liquidations to the downside and over $9 billion in liquidations back up towards the upside. And one way or another, no matter which direction this goes, one thing that you can expect is that these market manipulators are looking at this chart and thinking, "Ooh, I want all of it." And so it wouldn't shock me in the slightest if we see pumps and dumps and pumps and dumps, move up, move down, move up and down, and liquidating everybody in the way who is trying to guess which direction that this market is going to go in. The 7-day is going to be packed with volatility. The 1-day especially is going to be packed with volatility. But all in all, I still am leaning towards the top side because there are way more liquidations above us. And so what does this mean? It means that the market manipulators are going to be swinging this market around trying to liquidate people. It means there's going to be a whole bunch of news coming out shaping the market, and there's going to be a bunch of stuff happening with the Bitcoin price and what it's trying to decide if it's going to enter into this range. And so because of all of these things, you bet your butt it is going to be chaos. And that can create a crazy, crazy environment here in the world of crypto. So what am I doing as a result of this? Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not really doing much. Matter of fact, I did a video, or a live stream earlier, and I told you guys, listen, this is crazy. I don't want nothing to do with it. I ain't doing much. My game plan remains rather simple. If Bitcoin's price can re-enter back into this range, I might take a little bit of profits off of Bitcoin, actually at like this mid-range zone between 116 and 118K, and I'll take more profits up here if we push into the top of the zone. So my first take profit will be between 116 and 118. My next one will be at 126,000. Why would I take profits there? Well, because we bought at 103.7K. And so yes, if I can get a 10%, 15% move here on Bitcoin, I'll naturally take some profit off the table on it, knowing that there is still a risk of us getting rejected. Now, am I going to close a lot of my position? No, of course not. But I would close enough to be able to lock in some decent profit and reward myself for this buy the low that I did back here. Now, if Bitcoin's price gets rejected because of the news or the manipulation, I do plan on buying a little bit at 98,000, and I'm going to save a lot of money to rebuy in back around 90,000 to 84,000 because it is a massive zone of support down here. So purchase number one would be at 98. Big purchase number two would be between 90 and, of course, this little $83,000 area. So it's very simple. I'm not doing anything complex right now. I'm going to take profits if it goes up. I'm going to dollar cost average if it goes down, and I'm going to watch and listen. And that's all I'm going to do. I don't want to overcomplicate it, and I think a lot of people are going to get rinsed. I do not think now is a good time to go long on leverage. I do not think now is a good time to go short on leverage. I do not think you should be putting yourself in a position in which you can be vulnerable to the volatility that's coming, because it is coming, and I'm telling you, people are going to get rinsed. We'll just have to see how that goes, okay? And so that's about it for now. I'll keep you guys updated on as it plays out and how it plays out. I know there's a lot happening in the market right now, a lot of ever-changing things, price action, news, manipulation, whatever. And one thing I do want to let you know is I actually made a video on my educational channel called Tyler Teaches Crypto. I'll link it down below, which I went over my exact system to stay up to date with crypto. How every day I'm capable of knowing exactly what's happening in crypto, what I'm expecting next, and if I'm going to buy, if I'm going to sell, if I'm going to trade. I know every day what I'm going to do using this system, and I made an entire video breaking down that system for you, and it's linked in the description below, okay? So go over to that channel, check out the content over there. 2 videos a week will be posted here, so feel free to subscribe if that is interesting to you, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you have been finding the information valuable. But please, at the end of it all, be very careful this week, because things will be crazy. A lot of things will be impacting this market, and I'll be here every step of the way with you to walk you through it. I'll see you all soon.